What's up, guys? So I really quickly wanted to talk about a topic that's been bugging the shit out of me for the past couple of months, and that is the Redskins name. A lot of people have been asking or talking about it like it's been a bad thing. It's been bugging them, and I can see why it would do that. There are several reasons why people should care about the topic, and there are several reasons why people should care that people are using the name to this day for something that we deem as entertainment. So just to start off, I'm gonna jump in there and kind of give you the actual definition of the Redskins name. So the Redskins in the dictionary is listed as informal plus offensive Native American. And then underneath it, there's an example that says the word Redskins is very offensive and should be avoided. A secondary definition came up as a noun. It's dated offensive, and it's listed as just an American Indian. This irritates me to no fucking end when I see Native Americans say, "Who cares? Get over it. It's just a name. It's just a team." What they would do is they would put prices on the scalps of Native Americans. They would pay people this amount of money to bring back the scalp of a Native American to help exterminate Native Americans. If we can get a win with the Redskins changing their name, that opens up the door for other things to get changed as well. And like I said, it is a racial term, and one thing that you can kind of pick at from the fact that it's the only term used for a mascot, it's really fucking offensive. In the Daily Show with Jon Stewart, they touched on this a little bit. Members of the 1491s were on that show, and they specifically said it is the only race that is used as a mascot, and it's Native Americans and fucking animals. Just judging from that correlation and kind of relationship, you can kind of see where people place Native Americans on their list of important races, right up there next to fucking animals. This probably wouldn't be a big deal if there were other races used as mascots too, but you don't see fucking the Washington Chinks. You don't see fucking, I don't know, Atlanta cotton pickers. You don't see shit like that. No, what you see are Native American mascots and derogatory terms. Redskins. This matters, people. It really fucking matters. If we were to go back to other ideas of racism and how Native American racism today relates to those things, now let's just kind of jump on race as it comes, or even just different forms of racism or like discrimination. So to start us off, we got black people. They were thrown into slavery at the very fucking start, but once they gained their freedom, they were discriminated against severely. So they had segregation. They couldn't go to the same schools. They couldn't live in the same neighborhoods as white people. They couldn't date a white person, although white people could date a black person if they wanted. They weren't allowed to vote. They were like small things like being put on the back of a bus, which became a huge fucking deal when Rosa Parks decided not to move for a white person. Think about that for a little bit. If they can come back from that, so can we. But women's suffrage. Women didn't have the right to work. They didn't have the right to vote. If we held up the same ideals, we wouldn't have had a woman governor because they were not allowed to carry an elected position. They couldn't even own their own homes. They couldn't own land. Here's the sad part. They couldn't refuse to have sex with their husbands. They couldn't say no if their husband wanted to have sex. That is fucking scary. And I mean, it can go even as simple as the fact that they weren't allowed to wear pants at one point in time. Skirts, dresses, all day, every day. Person who's watching this who loves to wear, or woman who's watching this who loves to wear fucking pants, you weren't allowed to 40, 50 years ago. Oh well. And now finally, the hot topic of today, aside from, the Native American name, is gay people. They are not allowed the right to marry in some states still. The fact that they are not allowed the right to marry kind of carries its own set of protections that go along with the fact of getting married. Things like taking leave from work for bereavement in case the spouse dies. There's divorce courts that they have no access to. There's also things like life insurance, benefits policies. There's things that go along with getting married that they cannot do and they cannot have because of the fact that they can't fucking get married. This kind of brings me to the whole term get over it. I've seen this multiple fucking times, and I finally snapped because this is the stupidest fucking thing that anyone could possibly say about any sort of discrimination. Get over it. Okay, well, if we were gonna say get over it, why don't we tell that to the black people? You want freedom? Too bad. You want to vote for your president? You don't want to sit in the back of the bus anymore? Do you want to sit next to your white friend? Get over it. Women, you want to vote too? Sorry, that's not gonna happen. Oh, you don't feel like having sex tonight, honey? Well, I'm sorry. Get over it. Gay people, you want to get married? Oh, I'm sorry, that's never gonna happen. Get over it. Native Americans? Oh, you want the name changed? Get over it. All it takes is for a little name change and everything will be fine. Redskins to whatever the hell you want it to be. I read something somewhere once that it said that the Redskins were originally supposed to be named the Renegades, which is a really fucking cool name. I would totally go for the Renegades, but no, we're stuck with this term, the Redskins. After all of that, what pisses me off the most is the fact that it's Native Americans holding us back from changing the Redskins name, from making it a derogatory term to something, anything else. This is where my mind gets fucking blown. Native Americans legitimately do not care about a derogatory term, a racist term against them being used in the public eye. That blows my fucking mind. I've kind of narrowed it down to 3 things that they might be thinking to, they don't want to get the name changed. So one is that the mindset that it will never change. This is saying that Native Americans have already accepted the fact that the name is there, the name is not going to change, therefore there's no reason to worry about it because it's going to be that way forever. Wrong! If you want something to get changed, you need to do something about it. And we've seen this with Martin Luther King, okay? Rosa Parks, those two were pivotal in the African American civil rights movement. And then we've had tons of women do something about women's suffrage. Even today, they're still fighting for same wages, for same business opportunities, things of that sort. And then everyone is in a fucking uproar about getting gay couples to the marriage podium. What about Native Americans? Why can't we get a simple freaking name change? All it's gonna do is change merchandise from one R-based word to another R-based word. Redskins to Renegades. Ooh, big change. And then plus, all your Redskins gear will become more valuable as time goes on because it would have come from a time before they were known as the Renegades or whatever you want them to be named. It doesn't matter. Choose a name, vote on it, whatever. 2 is the idea that the name is nothing to freak out over. So this one comes from the idea that Redskins has been used for so long that no one remembers what the old term is, and that's okay because, who cares? No one remembers. A lot of people remember. Something should be done about that. Not sure what. I don't know, maybe we could get the name changed. Obviously not, because this has become a big fucking deal, and yet there are still people, even in New Mexico, where there's a high native population who don't give 2 shits about what's going on with this name change. And then the third one is that you legitimately, you like the name. So, good for you. I don't know what to tell you. You're very uneducated if you like the name. There's something seriously wrong with you. And then that brings me to my next thing. Why are we doing this now rather than 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago when it started? It's because we have a voice now. The reason why Martin Luther King couldn't do what he did 20 or 30 years before he did it was because he wasn't well respected as a pastor at the time. He did it when his popularity was pivotal, when it was at the top, when he was in his prime, when he was at his A game. That is why. Why did women not fight for voting rights 20 or 30 years before they could? Because they weren't respected enough to be taken seriously. Why are gay people now asking for the right to vote, not 20 or 30 years ago? Because they have a voice as well. Their influence has grown to the point where people will back them up. This is why Native Americans need to band together to get this fucking name changed. The name changes, that opens door for other things to get changed. Maybe more healthcare, more help in reservations. Sky's the limit if we can get this one fucking win, because then people will know that we're serious about what we're trying to do with our people. What makes it even worse is that we really aren't respected as people, because the only thing that people outside of native populated states have to go on are movie props, that we are movie props, or even worse, that we don't even fucking exist. I've heard stories of people say, hey, I'm Native American, and then the other person saying, oh, I thought you guys were extinct, or I didn't think you guys existed, or I only thought you guys were in movies. It blows my fucking mind. something obviously needs to get done. Something needs to change. Something needs to give. And the only people that are going to do it are the people that are affected by it, meaning us Native Americans, us people who are directly impacted or directly referenced by the thing that is going on. For gay people, it's the fact that they can't get married. For us, it's the fact that Dan Snyder won't change the fucking racist name of his team. It's just a name for most parts. I mean, if you changed it to the Renegades, people would support the Renegades. It's a name change, it's a mascot change, and boom, you're done. You can just spray paint over the fucking field that they have there. To close this all up, I feel like Native Americans are, at least the ones that here in New Mexico, are unaffected because there's a large population of Native Americans here. Yeah. Everyone in the state knows about Native Americans, they know Native Americans, they're friends with Native Americans, and we're secure in that little bubble that we have. If we go just 2-3 states over, there are blatant racists who would kill Native Americans or black people or Chinese people or what have you if it was legal. And then, of course, like I mentioned, there are the people who have never met or seen a real Native American and can only base their assumption of what Native Americans are on movie stereotypes and whatever they might hear on the news, meaning the drunk native stereotype. If people like John Oliver from Last Week Tonight or Jon Stewart from The Daily Show or even the fucking creators of South Park get that this is an issue, why can't our own people? And that's really all I have to say on the matter. Sorry for the quick rant. I just had to get this out there. Thanks for listening. Share this if you agree with me. If not, share it anyway because someone else might agree with me. Hopefully, I might have changed your mind about some things. Comment if you have an issue with anything that I said. Please just open up your eyes and open up your mind just a little bit, and maybe we'll finally find some equality among all races and people.